What up, everybody? It's your boy Goth MC X to the D, coming at you with a live special video today. As you guys heard me say on Facebook earlier, for the past 3 or 4 days after I'd finished up all of my songs, and I'm going to tell this story for a lot of you who don't know. Now, as I continue this, I will state that I am in Starbucks right now. I am live, and in a period of time, you will hear random instances of people getting loud, okay? Some of that's going to be done on purpose. Some of that is just because it's Starbucks. I'm going to explain all of this and how it connects in a second. As some of you were listening on the last live feed, we were discussing the hidden scriptures of the Holy Bible, specifically the Gospel of Thomas. The Gospel of Thomas, amongst 145 other sanscripts that were buried inside of a tomb, which are now stored in the Nag Hammadi Library of Egypt and found in 1945. These things take place about 300 years after Jesus Christ. These scriptures held the very key elements to how we're supposed to pray. We got a lot of Western Revised Bibles that tell us that prayer is a true answer, but these missing pieces in the Nag Hammadi library are the key elements that taught us how exactly to do that. If you read these scriptures or you go on Google and you do your studies, you will discover that the very reason why these scriptures were hidden away from us was because if they had realized that we could gain our full power and achieve our own self-salvation, there would be no government. Because we have the power to heal ourselves. We have the power to move mountains. But you have to understand both science and spirituality. There are 3 key secrets. The Tibetan monks had some of these Dead Sea Scrolls or had some of these scriptures and they held them back. But as well, those are now being displayed in the Nag Hammadi library. There are 3 key elements to achieving and awakening your true inner likeness in the image of God. So let me start off by telling you what God very much is. We gave God a name as if God is a human or somebody who has hands and legs, okay? But we all know that that's not the truth. Scientists have discovered that particles don't look like what they taught us as kids. Particles, in fact, look like a big wave of energy fields. Particles are electromagnetic energy waves, okay? If you understand the human body, then you know that our heart pumps electromagnetic waves, the same frequencies that particles that are inside and outside of us are made of. Therefore, we are one with the earth, okay? That being said, these scriptures in the Gospel of Thomas were so important because they held the key factor that everything, whether science or spirituality, is connected. It is all connected. Scientists also made the study that you can take one particle, split it in 2, and I think they split it for about 14 centimeters. And when they split the particle in 2, both of them acted the same. They were still completely connected, even though both particles were split. In a more simple sense, that basically means that no matter what separates, materialistic or not, it is all still connected, meaning we are connected to, I am connected to this camera I'm holding. You're connected to this camera that I'm holding. You're connected to the table that you're sitting at. You're connected to the couch, your friendships, your friends, their skin, their bones, their blood. We are all connected. We are these particles. We are these energy fields. As Greg Braden taught us, and actually it does make sense because when you look at the pages of the Bible or even the hidden scriptures, whether you're Christian or whether you're Buddhist or whether you're Catholic, they all tell us the same thing. They're all telling us that there is an energy field surrounding us all and that we have the language, the potential language to actually use that field, okay? The field of energy that we call God, that we don't even know. It's an entity. It's not a person. It doesn't have a face. It is an entity. It is an energy field that creates. It's not just throughout our world. It is throughout the entire galaxy. Everything is particles. Everything is energy waves, okay? Including us. We all know that the earth is very much alive, and that now we are connected to the earth. So for me to put this in more simpler forms, this makes more sense if you understand the nature of it. It makes more sense why the Virgin Mary could give birth to a baby without physical contact. Because the divine energy that surrounds us inside and outside of us all will that on its own force, its own life force, because it is the life force. It is the life force that creates everything and everyone. And it is all over the galaxy. That being said, I had also stated before that in the scriptures it said that when the two become one, that person will have the power to speak to the world. When two become one, thought and emotion, which are the very definitions of faith. When two become one, you can move the mountain, okay? The reason why the word faith goes in and out of everybody's ear, if you understand both spirituality and psychology, is because our understanding of these things has been broken down to vocal language. Words, letters, symbols, and numbers, the simplest of the true language of the divine. If you understand this, then you understand why our prayers don't ever get answered. We're saying our prayers, we're going, this needs to be granted in my life. Can you please grant me this? Can you please grant my family that? And then the prayers don't get answered, and then it looks like it's hopeless. And so many people stray away from the heavens or the heavenly blessed way. Why? Because the praying is not being done with thought and emotion. Okay? Again, the heart pumps the strongest force of electromagnetic waves throughout the world. This means that our hearts are pumping energy, a type of energy that affects the entire world around us. If you see now how we're living in this age of globalization, everything around us is the image of who we are in our hearts. Everything we see is based on how we've decided to advance. Okay? So as Greg Braden taught us, in order to really have a full understanding and invite the divine, or the essence of divinity or spiritual power, the divine matrix as they have called it, in our lives, we have to do two things. We have to first understand how it works, and science teaches us that. That's what the science part of it for. This is why the world is split into two parts. There you got the people who believe only in science and the people who only believe in spirituality, when these pages of the Bible that are missing and have been missing for years teach us that they're both connected as one. And until we learn both sides of this, we will not understand or get right true with the Holy Spirit, no matter how many times we go to church, no matter how many times we're nice to people. It really, that's not the point. Okay, the point is to achieve your divinity before you leave earth. That's why life is a test. Okay, we have the ability to affect the time and space and the materials around us because we're all connected to the materials. Why did Jesus turn water into wine? Because his brain understood the same thing that his heart, as they connected, understood. The science of it all and the spirituality of it all. I'm going to tell you a miraculous story that none of you know right now about myself, and why I'm telling you these things and why they're true, because I will be showing you proof. Do you see how it just got louder? Okay? I'm going to be showing you proof of these things. Okay? The devil doesn't want you to know the truth of this. The devil wants you to stick to the ways of the government that took these pages of the Bible from us so that we didn't understand our true power, because the people who were the elites of that era, Emperor Constantine, the man who decided what to put in the Bible and what to take out of the Bible, he's one of the many corrupt elites of our systems to this day, that the reason why those scriptures were taken out is because they understood that if we awakened our true spiritual image in the likeness of God himself, there would be no government. And if we awaken it now, we'll overthrow it, because we will be too spiritually powerful. And I mean literally spiritually powerful. We are no longer who we were in our ancestral era. We can no longer turn water into wine or walk on water. Even though we still have these capabilities, we have lost them because of our history, our ancient history. The words of the ancients have been lost. This is why you don't hear me reciting any scripture from our recent Bibles that have been revised and defaced. This is why you hear me speaking on the lost scriptures that are in the Nag Hammadi library. While everybody else is looking at what's put in front of them, I'm always the person who's looking in the background, because every time they throw something in your face that seems big, it's because they're hiding something bigger. Now, a lot of you already know that. A lot of us have already had that conversation. When they throw someone like Madonna or Britney Spears in the news, it's because there's something else in the background going on that they're hiding from you, and by the time you come to realize it, these things have already happened. Trump is already in office. These things already happened. These trends, the society, it's our environment that grows to teach us in a way that now mankind thinks on a competitive level. Everything is competition now. Who's the better looking man? Who's the better looking woman? Who has more money? You know, the younger women like older men because of money. You know what I mean? There's a lot of it is materialistic, because our trends, the media, the radio has all grown us, and teachers, the educational system has grown to teach mankind that the world is competitive, that the world is negative, and it has also taught you that you are powerless unless you are working for other people, or unless you are aligned with the system of controls that are already in control by other elites who are also just as corrupt. People believe that people who are under a higher level of power are righteous people, or that this power comes from God. But they don't understand that that power of the media or that power of the radio is no power. It's only the power that your brain and your heart gives it. So when a lot of you are paying money for music from artists who don't give a damn about you, but are just taking your money instead of giving a message, you're not realizing what you're spending your money on. You're not realizing who you're making famous. But if you study into those rappers or those actors or actresses' histories, or study their interviews, you will start to begin to see what the industry really is. That's why a lot of these young rappers are coming out telling you, you think this is a gift from God when you're signed. It's not. That's why a lot of artists end up broke, because they don't understand the 360 deal. You are stuck in the materialistic, modernized society and have forgotten your spiritual self, okay? Because the 9-to-5 world is purposefully made of those distractions. Now you're jumping from one foot to the other. You're working all these crazy 9-to-5. You barely have time to come home. You're too tired from your school life and your job life to come home and really get to know who you are and why God made you. So eventually we grow to believe in this 9-to-5 modernized world that that's who we are. And we've forgotten why we're here on this earth, the real purpose that God gave us, not the purpose that man wants to give us, man who created these jobs, man who created these techniques, man who created this educational system, okay? But who we are truly on the inside as why God made us. We don't know this, because every time you receive an answer, and generally speaking, every time you receive an answer that you don't want to accept about yourself, you deny it, project it onto someone else and judge them for it, which is called repression. And trust me when I tell you, 50% of America doesn't even realize it has repression. 50 or 60% of America doesn't realize mental illnesses are just common things that happen based on environment, based on experience, based on personal aspects on what you see. So when we create mental illnesses, and trust me, in this day and age, everything has become a mental illness. Everything is an excuse now. Pedophilia is now a mental illness. You know, so they created what? They created these, and pastors and churches have been talking about it, they're creating these child sex dolls now for pedophiles. Because apparently you're supposed to feel sorry for them. Everything has become a mental illness. No. People like this are sick. They know exactly what they're doing. They're hurting children. They're taking advantage of them. And they know exactly what they're doing. And we're supposed to feel sorry for them because the majority of society believes that if 100 people say that it's okay, then that must mean it's okay. Just because 100 people agree with it doesn't make it right or true. So now with that being said, ask yourself this. What if everything we are taught to believe, or most of what we were taught to believe, everything we grew up learning, what if 50 to 60% of it is false? Why do you think kids don't learn cursive anymore? Do you not see how quickly the system is trying to dumb everybody down so that you don't learn these things? So now people like us have to stand up and push these things to the forefront for you, so that once we feed you this information, you can continue to do your own studies. Now, I'm going to share you a miraculous story that teaches that self-preservation, self-healing, and all of these things are possible, because this is my story. I started off being homeless at the age of 16. That happened through a lot of situations that one day I will get into, but sometimes things happen beyond our control, and before we are even old enough to realize them. I was homeless at a very young age before I could realize things. And at that time, I started losing friends. I mean, rapidly losing friends, because I was poor. And the lonelier and the poorer you get, the lonelier you get, because people, again, look at materialistics. They no longer want to know who you are on the inside. They just want to know what you have. So I'm losing friends at a rapid rate and hadn't done anything to anybody. As a martial artist, I had mastered a kick called the dragon kick. And one night, I was so upset. I had done and performed this because I'd never done it on a person or any object. But one night I had done this on a very tall box that was about a little more than my size, that was sitting by a dumpster. And I landed the kick, but the problem was when the box dented in, I couldn't land my standing leg on the ground. And what happened was my kneecap hit the concrete at a massive gravitational rate, and my full body weight landed on my kneecap and completely tore the ACL in my kneecap, the cushion between the joints. I was in so much pain, but because I'm already even at that age spiritually inclined, I knew what to do to prevent myself. And I had never had an injury like this. Keep in mind, I never studied like things about the hospital or what doctors teach you. It was just naturally in my mind, I felt certain things were going to happen. And so my natural nature, the nature of myself, taught me internally what to do to prevent those situations, and it worked. I went to the hospital, and the doctors did the x-rays, and they told me, you're never gonna walk again. Because when you tear an ACL in your kneecap, that's it, an ACL cannot heal. So they told me, you would never walk again. I saw the x-rays, I had a piece of bone sticking out. And even in the x-ray, when you describe it, and I will be getting these x-rays back from Wheaton, because all of this happened in Wheaton. For those of you who are non-believers, I will be getting this from Wheaton, okay? I will be getting all that information because that's where that happened, this happened. Okay, and they told me I'd never walk again. As a homeless person who had no way to really like cope with it and rest and stuff, I did have neighbors where I was lucky enough. I was homeless by a creek, and that creek had my neighbors that lived right next to it, and so they would sit out one of those long seats where you could lay back in the sun, and you fold it up and you fold it, you know. So I laid on that, and what I did was I treated my leg, and I would put the pillow on the leg. I had no other way to treat it. I was homeless, okay? But I blocked what the doctors were saying. Something inside of me was telling me that this is not correct. Something inside of me was telling me, no, I am meant to do something, and what the doctor's saying isn't true. So what did I do? I started taking mass painkillers. I started lifting my leg up and down like those yoga classes. I started taking painkillers and walking on it in little bits, like little split seconds, trying my best not to treat it. And I did this for about 2 months. I'm still doing martial arts to this day. I still run, I still jump, I still flip, I still kick. I still do all of those things. My Tai Chi is still on point. With no ACL in my kneecap since I was 17 years old. I am bone on bone in my left kneecap. And when I tell people the story, they're like, no, there's no way that's possible. I am going to have to call the Wheaton hospitals and get those x-rays and get that report back so I can show the whole freaking Facebook and Twitter community I am a walking miracle. I am a walking miracle because A, I had thought and emotion, which are the key elements to faith. And B, I naturally understood the energy field and how things work. Nothing had to tell me that. Nobody had to tell me how it worked. It's just, you would be, okay, let's take for instance the lady who lifted up the car to save the child that was under it. As old as she was, there was no way she'd have been able to lift that car. It was her at that moment understanding of the divine matrix. Okay? All the limits are in your head. Every limit. But you'll be amazed what one can do when they are forced to. But once you realize, like I did with this leg, your true spiritual potential and your true spiritual healing and understanding of the self, you will dig into the rabbit hole of these things more. And then you will learn how to channel and really gain that power on a higher level. I'm 38 years old. I look 10 years younger than everybody. I'm almost 40. I look and act and physically act 10 years younger, if not more. I feel like I'm 18 still. It has not changed. There's a reason behind that, guys. So all of you guys who are always asking, dude, have you not changed? How do you look the same? How do you do this? It ain't makeup. It ain't skincare products. You don't need any of that. And in fact, in time, those things make your face worse. Celebrities wear makeup, and then that's why they age so quickly. Because that makeup in time is wear and tear. It's improper things that aren't supposed to be on your face. Aloe, you can use that. These are plants. These are nature. Like I told you, the earth is alive. We are connected to everything on the earth. These man-made products are not what you're supposed to use. And even if you look 10, 15, 20 years younger, if you can't run, I beat kids on the basketball court around here. I beat the kids on the basketball court around here, and I smoke, and I've been smoking since I was 17, 18, and that has not affected me either. I still have a healthy set of lungs. I still rap very perfectly on point. I still do 8 bars without even breathing a breath, whether on stage or not. This is all healing, self-healing power based on belief, faith, thought, and emotion. See how it's connecting now? Getting into this further. These 3 key elements I am going to share with the whole Facebook, Twitter, and eventually, hopefully, after a couple of albums, the world. These understandings were found in the Tibetan temples. The Buddhist monks held the Dead Sea Scrolls. A lot of the Buddhist monks held chapters of the Dead Sea Scrolls. And the tombs in Egypt held the Gospel of Thomas and other sanscripts, okay? The 7 chakra were found in those sea scrolls. All of these teachings were God's teachings. But now when you look at the Buddhist monks of Tibet, they try to teach you that their teachings are satanic. No, they're not. They're actually in sync with God. This was how Jesus was able to do the things he was able to do through these understandings. But our religions are so separated, worldwide, from here to there, that we don't know how to connect all of these religions and all of these beliefs because everything is connected. Mankind has taught us to be separate on everything, and that's why religion causes wars. There are 3 key elements to achieving or to begin to achieve your inner spiritual power, your superpowers, okay? If you want to put it in a more simple term for humans, we have superpowers, okay? Zen, Nen, and Den. Now, we all know what Zen is. It's the Buddhist monks, I mean, that's the one thing they're always teaching, is the cleansing of the mind. Organization, decentralizing yourself from like gold, copper, and other parts of the monetary system. Zen, inner peace of the mind. Nen is my favorite right now. Nen is actually what I'm going to be teaching you today, because Nen is going to be one of the biggest and most hidden elements in awakening your superpower, okay? Me, almost at the age of 40, to be able to do the things that I can do when other kids can't, that is strange, but it's also, these are the reasons. Nen is a type of inner technology, because man is a type of technology. Nen is a human technology that enhances our superhuman capabilities. The practices of the Buddhist monks. Now, I know that you've seen those historical videos of Buddhist monks who take swords to their throat and break the sword. That's because they understand the chi. They understand how to manipulate the essence of the divine matrix, the energy fields around us. Okay? Nen is a technology that creates the ability to understand the energy field, the chi, that surrounds us all. Then is almost like the completion after you've accomplished Zen and Nen. Okay? See, you've learned nothing about Nen and Den, but you've learned almost everything about Zen for many, many years. The Zen of people, the Tao of people. But Nen and Den were very hidden, and I had to follow a rabbit hole. These techniques into our spiritual understanding of ourselves and our superpowers are so well hidden, I literally had to take the risk of getting on the dark net to find it. Guys, I took the risk of getting on the dark net. The home of the most indecent killers and just deviant, satanic, immoral, less than human beings you will ever find on the web. But this is where I had to find it. That's how well hidden it is. They don't want you to know any of this. Today I'm going to teach you one of the key beginnings of Nen, because Nen is one of the most important key factors into awakening your superpower. Zen you can study anywhere, so I will not be getting into that right away this minute. When you are practicing Nen, one of the key elements you have to understand is your breathing process. When you're running out of breath as you run or exercise, the reason why you're running out of breath when you shouldn't is because you're breathing wrong. When you're running, you should never be out of breath. When you're doing these things, you should not be out of breath, or your breath should be at a steady pace. When people see me run, they don't see me with my mouth open. They always see me with my mouth. It looks like, to other people, it looks like I'm walking as I'm running, because I'm not giving an expression of losing breath. So I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm going to show you how to first awaken your breathing power, which will help you awaken your spiritual energy. Now, in Nen, they teach that every bit of energy can be stored in the abdomen. So when you see martial artists doing, they are channeling their energy into their abdomen, because that's where energy is mainly stored. That's where it circulates, okay? In the practice of Nen techniques, what you want to do, especially when you're stressed, because look at who I am now. 3 days ago, I nearly committed suicide. I nearly committed suicide because of the town that I'm in and the way that they treat me. So I had found these techniques and these scriptures in the Lost Gospel of Thomas, and the reason why I think God wanted me to stumble upon them at that moment was because it showed in these lost scriptures of the Bible that everything I'd been saying was right all these years. And it made me realize it's not me. These people have absolutely no spiritual understanding. And so when they come across spiritually inclined people who speak on our enlightened level, they don't understand it and they fear it. They fear our energy because it's highly increased. And the devil attacks people with lower chakra energy. Again, the Buddhist monks taught about the seven chakras. This isn't some anime we're talking, guys. This isn't Naruto. The 7 chakras are real. The problem is people don't study. They're not going, even if you gotta Google a damn thing. Do your studies on these things and you will see that I'm right, okay? When practicing the Nen technique to awaken the first two parts of your chakra, which all stems from the pineal gland in your mind, in your brain, which is actually right here. This is where your pineal gland is very small and it's in the shape of a cone. The pineal gland is the key element to awakening all 7 chakras, okay, in your body. So when you're practicing Zen, especially in anguish moments, and a lot of therapists will try to talk to you like you're some kind of crazy child. But the technique is half true, they just don't tell you right. Your breathing 4-corner technique. Okay? When you inhale a deep breath and you exhale, which you should do slowly, tensify your abs. As you breathe deeper, as you exhale deeper, tensify your abs. So it's like, you see how I'm like, as I'm expressing it? You actually see a lot of martial arts do that before they break a block or before they're doing a performance technique. They are summoning up the hidden power inside of their abdomen. A lot of martial artists have that true understanding. I will also go out of my way to say that there are some people in this world who are meant to be warriors. There are some people in this world that are meant to be scholars. And there are some people in this world that are meant to be caretakers of the land, the 9-to-5ers, the people that get your coffee, the people that get your bags of groceries. There's 3 types of people. You obviously know what type of person I am. I'm here to give you the enlightenment that you need. There are people who are leaning more towards the divine side. Their DNA, their phenotype is more leaning towards the divine side, and then others are leaning more towards, as the Egyptians called, Mulu, which is a term for the primitive worker. Where in the Bible it says, let us create man in our image and in our likeness, to basically be a caretaker of the land, to work on this plantation known as the Garden of Eden. Okay? So when you practice Nen, and I will say you practice this everywhere you go, when you get the chance, the second Nen crosses your mind, practice it as you're walking, practice it as you're sitting down, practice it in everything you do. And when you start waking up the next day, and you will see your energy will change. When you wake up, you'll be a heck of a lot less groggy. You won't need as much coffee. You are starting to heal yourself, okay? Because physical healing doesn't start without the internal sense of understanding. You have to first know your body. This is why you meditate. When you meditate, you are feeling your body out. When you meditate, you will feel parts of your body that you will know are ailing you, little pains, little things that you will feel, and therefore you concentrate on the healing of those parts of your body. That's what meditation is. When you practice the Nen technique, it is not necessarily the practice of the healing. It's not the practice that you would think. It's the practice of internal, what do you call it? Storage of power. You might be tired one day and you wake up and you go, I don't think I'm gonna make it through the day. And keep your body, your abs in a tense moment. Focus on tensioning where your heart is and your abs, from the heart to the abs, even the chest, actually all parts of your body. If you tensify your muscles from where around the heart is down to the abs, okay, this is not only going to extend the power of your heart, this will help prevent heart attacks, this will help prevent cholesterol issues, the clogging of your heart, okay? Because remember, the heart is made of, it sends electromagnetic pulses. Scientists have proven this over and over again. So in the practice of the Nen technique, awakening your true superpower, always take that breathing process seriously. When you walk, no matter how crazy you look, tensify your body. Tense these muscles. Even when you're breathing, breathe in, and even keep all parts of your body tense. These increase the magnetic pulses in your heart. Okay? This extends your life. I'm getting laughed at by a bunch of kids who have no idea what I'm talking about. And that's what I'm talking. A lot of these kids make fun of me out here because they don't understand what I'm talking about. They don't understand spirituality, spiritual enlightenment, the art of Zen. They don't understand martial arts. They don't understand any of these things. So that's why I told you, you're going to come in here and you're going to see me go live. You're going to hear people laughing. You're going to hear people trying to make noise in the background. This is what I'm trying to tell you guys. This is what the devil wants to do. They don't want you to know this information any more than the government did. I had to literally go on a dark web. You see what I'm saying? The scriptures of the lost gospel of Thomas it really taught me that everything I've been saying is right. That's why I'm sharing all of this information with you guys today. Because the scriptures of the Bible that were lost and hidden in the Nag Hammadi library in Egypt were saying the exact same things I've been telling people. So those laughters you hear in the background are people who are lost. They're not one with the divine. They're not one with God. They don't understand what any of this is. They don't understand how it works, and they may never. Because remember, the environment that I live in is materialistic. And our society, again, our society has grown to make us believe that the world is competition. Who's got the better car? Who's got the better looks? Who looks better? Who's got all these clothes? That is not the divine. That is not what's divine. That is not what's spiritual. That is not enlightenment. That is material possession. Kids don't even learn cursive in school anymore. They're dumbing the educational system down. Cursive has been something people have been learning since school began, and now in the early 2000s, they completely X'd that out. So do you see how the educational system is even trying to dumb kids down to the point I'm getting laughed at for speaking things they can go find out for themselves is true? You see what I'm saying? Don't allow your energy, your spiritual understanding to be corrupted by the society around you that believes only in what's materialistic. People who are materialistic are not one with the Savior. They'll go to church on Sunday and pretend like they're learning good things and then see somebody like me and laugh. Really? You think God is just happy about that? Do you even know me? I don't know you, and I say nothing wrong to you. This is the problem with our modernized, computer-generized, globalized society. Is that commercials, media, the radio has taught you that if you're not one of us, then you're nothing. Now, God forbid you can step away, be your own individual, acquire your own sense of energy around your own energy field. God forbid you can do that, because now if you do that, you're an outcast. People come into this Starbucks every day and see that I'm alone, and they think that I didn't choose that. They think that I'm just an outcast. But not one of those people in the 2 years I've been here has come and asked me any questions. So you see, when people are doing these kind of things, it shows more about them than it does about the person that they're attacking, whether directly or indirectly, whether blatantly or not. Once you understand these things and you understand the art of Zen, Nen, and Den, you will be able to channel your energy in the way that I do. You guys see me on videos busting bricks with my fists all the time. You guys see me, the YouTube video where I throw 30-something odd punches in 12 seconds. This is all based on my techniques and what I've studied. Now, all these people around here be laughing at me, but they don't know what I'm capable of. And the ones that do know what I'm capable of often stay away from me because they know if you're not gonna be cool, then you're the enemy and will be treated as such. They try to teach you that war is wrong. They try to teach you that fighting or even defending yourself is violent. But let's remember that angels had swords in the Bible, flaming swords. And what did they do with those swords? They slayed demons. They took demons and sent them back to the perils of hell where they belong. We are the children of that battle. We are all the children of the battle of angels and devils. And that's what I'm here to do in the spiritual sense, is to slaughter the demons around me and help you slaughter the devils around you, because that's what demons do. They awaken themselves in people with lower chakra energy. So people who are talking trash about you and you're a good person and they just don't want to recognize it, you have to understand that that's not necessarily coming from their mind, okay? Because that's how the devil works. The devil utilizes people who are swaying in one direction or the other, who are not completely right with God and swaying in one direction or the other. And when you have this lower chakra energy from these people, the devil utilizes people. He could use people. He could use people closest to you. He can use the people that you love the most if they're not in right standing. This is what I'm trying to tell you. All of these techniques I will be teaching you throughout the entire year into 2020, even after that album comes out. All of these techniques, I believe in the future, are going to be what destroys our government. We don't need you anymore. We can heal ourselves. I can take this cut hand and heal it. I don't need your doctors. I don't need to pay all of this medication anymore and all your man-made prescriptions that only destroy us more than me. I'm not gonna take your flu shot so I can get sicker. I don't need you anymore, and I'm not gonna let you take my profits. We will be self-preserving. We will be our own power, and we will re-heal this world and go back to the way before Atlantis fell, when our advancement in technology was 10 times better than this, before we depended on nothing more than technology. So I want to thank all the fans who have been paying attention to all of this in my spiritual awakenings before this suicide attempt, and I do want to let you guys know that I do realize that that's not the way, that God had shown me these techniques and these things for a reason. I'm going to be going to a church in Oak Park. I think it was called the Christ Church. Some young girl here at Starbucks had suggested the place. And I'm going to introduce the lost Gospel of Thomas and a lot of the lost scriptures that were found in the Nag Hammadi that I've been studying in the Bible, from the Bible. I'm going to start doing speeches on this, and I'm going to start with that church. Because those missing pages that they have hold the key element, because remember, the Bible has been revised and these scriptures that they found prove it. Because although the Bible teaches us that prayer is the answer in our Western version, these hidden original scriptures were the key scriptures that they took out that taught us exactly how to do that. And that's what I'm doing for you now. I'm teaching you how to pray. We all think that praying comes from our voice. When you hear a pastor say, well, I spoke to God, or I prayed to God and God told me that, brother was either high or just he's fake. This is why I don't go to a lot of churches, because people don't understand the devil has tainted a lot of churches. It's now about power. I have had fights with many pastors when I tried to speak, and I've realized that a lot of pastors feel like they don't want their power taken from them or whatever. They want to be the one to stay. And so you start to see the real imperfection of humanity in a pastor. Everybody's human. They got their dark sides, whether you're a pastor or not. You see what I'm saying? Everybody ain't innocent. Everybody is not perfect. There's only one perfect, all-knowing. See? So I'm going to be teaching these things because y'all gotta wake up. I don't like living in a community of people who treat me wrong and have no idea of what's on the inside of me and what I'm really about and what I'm fighting for. Because I'm fighting for the same people that are spitting in my face. You see what I'm saying? And that's hard, but I have to keep pushing, because this crucifix around my neck, it's like I shower with it. Because it's like every time I take it off, something crazy happens. It's like God bound it to me. I will fight anybody that tries to rip it from my neck, because every time I take it off, something happens. So that was God telling me, no, you're one of mine. And this is what you're to be. Yeah, it's painful. People are going to look at you in a different way because you're different, but I made you that way. Because if people are going to laugh at you because you're different, why don't you start laughing back at them? Because they're all the same. They're all drones. They're bound to each other, and they don't want to be individuals because everybody wants to be so liked. Everybody's afraid to step away from that circle that they think is the right circle of people. I thought I had the right circle of people when I was young. I was just like them. What happens when you end up poor? What happens when you end up in a situation where now you really need people? But everybody deserves some kind of compassion. Everybody deserves some type of love. I live in a community, I don't get none of it, but I get the exact opposite. I'll get the hatred. I'll get, when I come around, people will run away. I get everything but a smile, a simple hand, things that are free, things that God wants us to do. And people around here see that it causes me grief and pain in my mind and my spirit. For the last 2 years, they've been doing it. And for 2 years, I've gone through pain every single day. Every time they come around, they find new ways to cause my heart pain every single day. But if they were going through that, could you imagine? They would feel the same way I would feel. So they see the way I act based on the pain, and they think it's funny, and then they run around telling people I'm crazy when they know that if they were going through the same thing with mass amounts of people, they would feel the same way. Never judge anybody's reaction or actions on anything if you've never been in that situation. Never judge another situation until you've actually been in it. Yesterday, I was proud of myself because I backfired on 2 females that tried to do that to me yesterday, and it backfired. I got everybody around them to dislike them because they were trying to do something to me that was very inappropriate. So God wanted that to happen because God wanted them to see what it feels like to be rejected by so many people. And the looks on their faces gave me delight because now they know what it feels like. So imagine going through that every single day, everywhere you go, having that pain in your heart. This is why I'm teaching you guys this, because now that I know and I've been practicing these things and I have my healing, my healing potential, can't nobody ever penetrate the armor of God that I have around me anymore. And my powers are becoming stronger and stronger and stronger as I keep practicing. So again, thank you everybody for, paying attention to this. It's been a very important thing for me to give to you. I will be showing pictures. I wanted to show some pictures. Actually, I think I can still show those pictures. If I can, let's see if it still goes live. I think it's still going live. If it's still going live, then you're hearing my voice, which means, yes, definitely a good thing. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this. I believe the top is Den. The yellow is Den. I believe the blue is Nen. No. The blue is Zen. The yellow is the blue is Zen and the yellow is Nen. And the orange is Den. Okay? What you're seeing here with the character right there is, like I was just telling you, everything starts from the heart. Science teaches us that the heart pumps off fields of electromagnetic waves. Spirituality teaches us that the heart is the most powerful key to faith. The world of science tells us that particles are energy fields around us, inside and outside of us. So when we are meditating, we're not just feeling out the ailments of our body and trying to heal them or any of that. We're doing a lot more than that. I mean, my freestyles are getting better. My writing's becoming more thoughtful. My speaking to people is becoming more thoughtful. You see what I'm saying? This is the Nen sign. This is one of the Nen symbols. I believe that these are going to be the future. These are the key elements here, guys. It looks like something that's like a witchcraft, but it's not. It really, really isn't. These are the way of God, but we were limited. We were taught that these ways would be satanic because they didn't want us to hold our own power and self-preservation or salvation. Everything has been orchestrated since it all began. Everything has been orchestrated, okay? Zen, Nen, and Den are the beginnings of what's going to bring us together, guys, okay? The very beginnings. I want to thank everybody for really paying attention to this. I hope that as I dig deeper into this very healthy rabbit hole, I can continue to teach you as I'm being taught, and I can hopefully start giving some examples like the x-rays for my kneecap, because I healed that. God healed that. Together we healed that. Remember that God is the all-knowing force, the divine matrix, the energy in our lives that surrounds us inside and out and knows all. But we are the instruments in the image and likeness of that energy. Yeah, that's fine. Okay? So don't always depend on a prayer or saying God will handle it. Remember that we are the instruments of everything. We are the caretakers of the land. So we bring a balance between who we are and what we're sent here to do. Your boy Goth MC XD. New music coming on the 29th, right after Thanksgiving, featuring Street and E-Man. All right? Holla back. Level up.